There's a big misconception that sustainable fashion is totally anti-trend. I disagree with this. Here's why. Humans naturally gravitate towards novelty and new things, and fashion is also a reflection of our current cultural moment. To ignore trends would be to ignore a big part of what it is to be human. So how do we do this? How do we use trends for ideas instead of as a reason to buy a whole new wardrobe each season? Don't you worry, my friends. I'm going to take spring 2025 trends, the ones that I personally like and that I find are the most wearable, relevant, and also have the most longevity, but I'm gonna take them and distill them down into their most basic elements so we can actually see through the trend and understand how they can be used as tools to inform our style. If this concept interests you, grab a ticket to my live Shop Your Closet workshop. It's our last one of the season. The first trend, shiny metallics. We saw this on the runways at Rabanne, Prada, Dolce & Gabbana as well. Just in general on the street and in shop windows, I've seen so many pairs of jeans and jackets embellished with rhinestones and little things that sparkle. The biggest element that it's adding is texture. Texture adds depth to an outfit. This is great because it means it works with multiple silhouette types, drapey or structured. I personally prefer it in more structured looks because there's more tension. The easiest way to not be intimidated by metallics and incorporate it into using what you already have is by seeing it as a neutral. I love seeing a metallic trouser styled in a more business way with a blazer and just a simple sweater, or this could be a simple t-shirt. I also love it in a blazer or outerwear. And I also think it can be really successfully applied, obviously, for like a date night in a skirt paired with something really easy like a simple tank top and a cool oversized jacket. I love how that's done here. Metallics work beautifully with colors. In a way, they almost soften the color contrast while making that color feel more vibrant. Metallics add a lot of interest and playfulness to a look. They're not for the faint of heart or anyone who wants to keep their outfit low-key, but you can also participate by just adding a brooch to your shirt and seeing how you feel about that. So if you have metallic or sparkly items that you traditionally wear for the holidays, pull them out this spring and see what happens. The next trend is what I like to call the lingerie effect. Chloe comes to mind when I think of the runway shows. There's this beautiful romantic ruffle, lots of sheer lace, but we also saw a lot of lingerie inspired looks pretty much everywhere. Balenciaga, Gucci, Christian Siriano, Esther Manas. There was also a lot of this lingerie-esque styling. So if it wasn't a head-to-toe lingerie look, there was often, you know, bras or bodysuits being layered under jackets, under shirts. And I think this is the easiest way to incorporate this trend. We already have bras, we already have probably some lacy items that maybe we usually keep covered. But if this is a trend that you want to explore, you can wear it pretty modestly just by unbuttoning a button-up shirt or wearing your lacy lingerie under a blazer or a jacket, for example. The main elements being presented by this trend are texture, also just the overall vibe and energy of the outfit. Let's talk about texture first. Very much like metallics, any sort of lace or slinky or sheer is going to add a lot of visual depth. These make great layering pieces. I personally love a good bra under the blazer moment. I have been a huge fan for years of a bra under a button-up. I think these are great ways to add a little bit of tension in an outfit. There are so many beautiful vintage lace nightgowns and robes that can be transformed into everyday look. Something that I've seen a lot on the streets here are long maxi lace dresses worn with a big oversized blazer on top. I think this is a really literal and trend-forward interpretation of the look, and I don't think we need to buy into those unless those very strong romantic vibes are part of your core style identity. I actually did a whole video on how to incorporate lingerie into your everyday looks. I will leave it up here and in the description box below for you. Next up is denim, which is an interesting one again because it's all about texture. But what I think makes this denim feel fresh is when it has an element of structure. We're seeing a lot of heavy tailoring and a lot of really structured silhouettes. What's interesting about this season is we're seeing a lot of darker indigo washes, which is great because, again, I think we all have some darker denim washes in our closet that we can just carry into spring. Another easy way to incorporate this trend is by going for the Canadian tuxedo. Denim is a rougher texture. We associate it with function and utility. Denim also affects the vibe and the energy of a look. If you want to tone down anything that feels too feminine or fussy or perhaps too business or corporate inspired, then adding denim is a great way to just bring some chill to that look. Wearing something oversized over something small and short. I've literally seen it so many times here in Italy. The major element of this trend is about the dramatic proportion. This creates a lot of drama for the eye to take in, right? This could be replicated with an oversized sweater, an oversized button-up shirt, and a small pair of shorts. It's really just about creating that tension with the volume and the fit. We can't talk about trends without talking about colors. The biggest ones for this season are banana yellow, not banana yellow, I keep saying that, butter yellow, baby blue, and brown. Brown, it's a wonderful, softer replacement for black, navy, and gray. Butter yellow and baby blue are two of my favorite colors to play with. I would recommend incorporating color trends in your closet only if they are colors that you have historically loved over a very long period of time. Don't force these color trends. I mean, look, don't force any trends, but particularly color, because it can have such a psychological impact on us. And we also look better and worse in certain colors. I don't like to go into color trends too much because they are subjective. I do believe you've got to feel some sort of connection to a color in order to wear it happily and to not get tired of it. Let's talk about accessories, because there's been an interesting shift in jewelry. So much jewelry that we're seeing now has this rigidity to it and a very architectural feel. Structured collar necklaces. I really like how these are being styled with structured pieces, like just a simple shirt. It's a really sharp, strong, and powerful look, but we're also seeing these really rigid structural forms with soft, lacy, romantic blouses. They have a lot of versatility depending on if you want them to provide contrast or harmony. Another accessories trend I love, because it's so easy to DIY, are bag charms. It can make an old bag feel new again, and it's so low effort and low stakes. Silk scarves are another really interesting accessories trend, and so accessible. The biggest question I get is always like, I have 1,000 scarves. Why do we accumulate so many silk scarves? Anyway, now's the time. You could literally wear a silk scarf in any iteration that you want and you would be on trend. Let me be more specific though. That's why you're watching this video. Hopefully you're still here. A fresh way that we're seeing silk scarves styled, tied as a head wrap, which feels very retro, very throwback. But we're also seeing them styled as cummerbunds to break up a dress, for example, or to elevate a pair of jeans as belts, and also tops, which isn't super new or avant-garde, but it's definitely more common this season. A silk scarf, much like the lingerie, adds this femininity and this sense of romance. Before styling your silk scarves, ask yourself if those are the vibes you want to inject in your look. The last accessories trend that I'm seeing that, again, is so easy, so low stakes, and just kind of fun are socks. If you're wearing a sneaker, a colorful or coordinated sock is really fun. If you're wearing a slingback or a loafer, we're seeing a lot of like lighter, lacy socks that offer a high contrast. All of these sort of sock styling trends lend to a bit of a quirky, preppy kind of look. If that's the vibe you want to add, go for it. So that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you learned anything, or even if it just gave you some new styling ideas. If it did, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe so that you don't miss another slow fashion video. I think I said thank you so much for watching, but I really appreciate it. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, wherever you're at. Don't forget to grab a ticket to my last live Shop Your Closet of the season. We won't be back until September, so I would love to see you now. All right, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next slow fashion video.